Think you're ready?
Feels weird. I'm not eating anything.
Super high energy, Ian. Super high energy.
Oh, it's there. It's there, man. my pulse is too low.
Okay. Ready, Eddie?
Yeah, my headphones sound a little low.
Welcome to the Suffocating the Podcast with your hosts. Welcome to the Suffocating the Podcast with your host, Nelson.
Ian.
Ed?
All right. So Eddie's headphones weren't
Technical difficulties.
sounding off properly there. So it was,
They're low. They're
yeah,
low. They're
it
low.
has
It's not
nothing
him.
to do with old age at all whatsoever.
You're older than I am.
Yeah, I know. But I do
How's
it
your
better.
knee?
Fucking
Yeah,
better?
I do it
Still
better.
sucks.
My knee healed on its own. He needed a brace and shots.
That's right, because this was actual meniscus tear of a man, and you had like this small little woman-sized tear, so you know you're fine.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. There are levels to this shit. All right, I stay up on
Where does the
on
tear? Where
highest
does the
level
tear cease to be a man tear and become a woman?
when it's not on my body.
Got it. I understand now.
I'm all the man that everyone needs. Remember that.
And some of the man you don't need.
His name is Ian. Yo, so I'm gonna jump right into it because I'm gonna tell you first. Bit of a skeptic. I went into a movie thinking this is gonna kind of suck because there's no superheroes in it and or supernatural beings.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed Top Gun.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Big surprise. Tom Cruise, who makes a movie every year, somehow makes a good movie still.
He does.
He is a supernatural being, though.
He really is. He's like the last of the
Movie stars.
Like what it was left. It's him, Brad Pitt, maybe Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yeah.
Will Smith. Those are like
Yeah.
the last of
It's kind of fading away. The you go to a movie just because the one person's there.
The Rock. I mean, really, outside of those guys and a couple of the ladies that.
The Rock's still in it, though. He's got some years left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's pumping out like
Well, he's
15 to 20 movies.
Speaking of a
year.
guy that's in a movie every year, this guy's in a movie every 2 months.
Yeah, and he's got like his own TV show now too.
Yep, his own
The
TV
Young
show.
Rock.
Yep.
His own-
That everybody's clearly watching. I mean, you're 100% caught up on it, right? How was this week's episode?
It was actually fantastic because I've seen every single episode. So if you were trying to make
sad,
a point,
sad
if you were
man.
trying to make a point,
I have not seen any
I
of it.
absolutely watched that show.
Is anybody else watching
I'm
that
I'm
show?
gonna tell you why I like it.
Who makes a show about like their origin? That's The Rock.
It
The Rock
really
does.
is, but it's not only about his origin; it's about the origin of wrestlers that we grew up watching. So they got like the Iron Sheik, Andre the Giant, Macho Man Randy Savage, the Wild Samoans, the Undertaker, even Steve Austin, and they got all these guys that really legitimately look like those old school wrestlers. And it was actually it's about The Rock and different time periods, but it's about the wrestling business. So I didn't even know that his grandmother
Yes.
was one of the biggest promoters, if not the biggest promoter in Hawaii. And she's the one that brought all of these huge talents to Vince McMahon.
I knew they were all connected somehow. I knew
Yeah.
all the like the Samoan family in wrestling. I knew
Yeah.
it was like Jimmy Snuka is connected somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know his
Um,
family was connected for generations in wrestling.
The Usos are like his cousins.
It's
like,
it's
there's-
really very
Roman Reigns
interesting
somehow.
because she had on her roster, no lie, she had the Wild Samoans, she had The Rock's father, Rocky Johnson, she had Andre the Giant. She discovered Andre the Giant. She discovered Macho Man Randy Savage, the Iron Sheik. Sergeant Slaughter came
So,
out of her camp.
Do you think it's a bad naming of the show to not try to highlight that this is it focuses on Rock, but it's more of an origins of wrestling entertainment, sports entertainment.
They might appeal to more people if they did that.
I believe
Because
they-
when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is telling the story of
Yeah.
Well,
The Rock growing up.
I think that's what it started out as, and I think
Yes.
they took a hard turn
Yeah.
into WWE.
I think like you still get a lot of basic like Rock origin story, but it's only a part of the show. It really ties into all of wrestling and like the things that happen to get all of these organizations together. Vince McMahon is a huge part of the show. Like a lot of the OG wrestlers and like the guys that they got to cast these people really do like look like these motherfuckers like in a crazy way. And I oddly enough, the Iron Sheik is where a lot of the Rock's conversational pieces, like the jabroni and all that shit, he gets it from him. Like he
Iron
asked
Sheik
him
was
for taglines.
Iron Sheik was a legendary asshole, man.
Oh yeah, he was. But like he was
Still
the
is.
And he's an asshole in real life.
Yeah, but he's actually
I believe he is active on Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a character because you know when you watch the story on the show, he really was like all about his people and everything. But they dedicated their lives to when we're out in the public, I am the Iron Sheik, and I'm gonna play that role to the day that I die. It isn't more until recent times that a lot of these wrestlers decide, oh, I'm on social media, I'm gonna let kind of the mystique of the wrestler out, and I'm a real person.
It's really only the recent generation where there's a dividing line between on stage and then we're behind the scenes, the camera's off.
Well, because a lot of times like they would even do things purposely. Like the Undertaker wouldn't travel with like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, they would avoid being seen together.
Right, they would avoid being seen together because they'd be like, how would it look like if I'm, you know, the heel and you're the
I remember
the
there
good
was
guy and then we're traveling together. We got to be friends. Like if people would see them, they'd start a fight. Just to keep up appearances.
I believe that was an issue that it might have been Roddy Piper or Jesus, I'm forgetting the name of the guy with the scissors.
Oh, Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah, it was one of them too. They would often travel with their rival.
Yes.
So they would run into issues where like, well, wait a minute, aren't you guys not some? What are you in the car together for?
Yeah. So no, I mean, all jokes aside, actually a pretty good show. But you know, I would have watched it anyway. So
I wouldn't have tuned in.
Yeah.
I had zero interest.
There's a part of me that likes cheesy throwback shows. Like I watched the other one with Glow. I don't know if you guys seen that one on Netflix, which is like a throwback to the women wrestlers at the time when they were trying to start they did start their own
gorgeous ladies of wrestling or something like that.
Wrestling organization, and it was dope. Actually, the show is really good. What's that guy? Maron?
I'm sure you watch it for the plot.
There was a great plot line in there.
That's why you tune in.
But back to Top Gun. Loved it. Super throwback. The only problem that I had with it was the geriatric romance. Because like you've got Tom Cruise in his like 90s.
Yeah.
Like falling back in love with his old crush, you know, that they bring into the movie and everything like that. And you knew it was going to happen. There's got to have this underlying love story with all the action.
Got to have a middle-aged sex scene.
It's more than a middle age.
How old's Tom now?
He's like 60, isn't he? He's a lot older than he looks. He takes care of himself.
So he needs some enhancement.
No, that you know, he gets those shots from like
Scientology. They keep him moving.
Yeah, he's Australian, right?
They keep him
like
young.
Kangaroo juice.
You can definitely see his age in this movie, but you know, it doesn't play into his role because like, you know, you're a fighter pilot. You know, those are one of those things where, like, hey, you get better with age sometimes. Some of your reflexes may slow down, but if there's the one thing that you're good at, like car racing, flying a plane kind of deal, like, I could see it. It still was a lot of believability, especially with what they had him do as his role in the movie. So
he stayed within his range.
Yeah, I liked it.
I do believe there was a little scene from Val Kilmer in there.
There was, and I will tell you this: there was not a dry eye in the movie theater. Like it. He really did his best to.
I told you they could find if Kevin Smith can get it done.
They're gonna.
Then Tom Cruise can fucking get the man a scene.
Yeah, they got him a scene, and I will say this: like the scene between him and Tom Cruise, like it looked like Tom Cruise, like he's a great actor, but it looked like he was like legitimately crying in the scene, because it was like a really heartfelt moment. Like they kind of played it to like, hey, this is.
So we're gonna see Val and Willow.
I said, it's
you
possible.
very well may see him in Willow, but I don't
absolutely
think.
Possible.
I honestly don't think his health will allow it.
Answer me this: does Val say anything?
He does, and it hurts to hear him talk because, like, you could really see the pain.
Yeah, they
in
had
his face, but I think it was something he needed to do, and I think it was dope that they let him do it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely one of those like, man, this is an emotional moment. You know,
They used,
I was the only psychopath not crying. I was just like, come on, Val, you had better lines
They
than
had
that.
some computer AI help him to deliver his lines.
Yes. But altogether, a really good movie. Reminded me that there are better movies than, or not better. There are other movies than superheroes, Star Wars, Star Trek, and that I can enjoy.
It doesn't need capes and lightsabers to be interesting.
No.
Speaking of that, Obi-Wan is out.
Yes.
It's for some good and some bad. You know?
Yes.
Some
If
good
you
and some bad.
Overall, 90% good. To me, it's 90% believability.
story wise,
Better than Boba Fett.
Story wise,
Yes.
I'm enjoying it. It's clearly a redemption for Obi-Wan, who at the end of the movies just kind of falls apart.
Yes.
And loses his way.
He's got some guilt there, you know.
Yeah.
He thought Anakin was dead. He thought he trained.
Thought he left him to die a slow death.
That was the one.
Like, you're my apprentice. I'm not gonna kill you. That would be the humane thing.
Like, I'm not even gonna turn around. You could at least turn around and like force push him into the lava.
that's
something to finish it.
You let him crispify.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, he
He
let
was
him
burning.
burn.
He was burning and screaming as Obi-Wan was walking away.
But before that, he chopped the man's legs off.
Legs,
Clean.
arms.
Shoo,
Yeah, he's
He
He's
warned
like,
him.
I'm doing this for you, Anakin. Bitch, are you though?
he
Are
said
you?
he has the high
He
ground.
said it. Don't do it,
Yeah,
Anakin. I got that
fuck,
ground.
man. No, I like this.
That's like I got you locked out completely. Like I got a heel hook locked in.
Right.
I got your other leg braced. You cannot turn. And I look at you and say, "Don't struggle, Nelson. Just tap.
Yeah.
I have it in." And you just look at me and go, "Fuck you!" And then you roll into the heel hook and you blow your knee to smithereens. And then you're laying there on the mat with your foot facing the wrong way.
This is
Why did you do this to me?
Exactly.
This is a highly sensitive subject for me.
Nelson,
You guys know my knees are a very sore spot.
Nelson, you could have been the chosen one. You were supposed to win the IBJJF,
Yeah.
not be crippled.
Yeah. No, but I'm a man, so I don't tap.
Well, neither did Anakin.
No, he did not tap. I don't think he could. He didn't have arms.
Well, he did when
He could have verbally tapped. He could have
if he
verbally
just would have
tapped.
gently jumped onto the sand.
Yeah.
And like, all right.
It would have made sense, like, oh, right here, instead of the whole,
Yeah.
I'm gonna leap all the way over.
Yeah,
you.
right.
Again, another forced maneuver. Like, he's jumping over, you just force chuck him to the side. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that could have happened, but Obi-Wan was like, I don't want to do this. Pshoo! He's thinking like, Padme, I'm gonna see you later.
No, there's actually other speculation that Rey's his daughter,
Okay, I can see
because
that.
he actually does have a love interest in the movies. They don't go into it much in the movies, but they do in the cartoons. So there is always the plausibility. So that may be a way they retcon that she's
she's
random
like
nobody's kid.
Right.
She's a Palpatine. Somehow maybe Obi-Wan factors in there.
They're thinking
Like
like
maybe the Emperor's like niece or something was really hot.
Yeah, because the
I don't know.
Palpatine
I don't know.
was manipulating things to make children. He was a clone of and all that other nonsense.
Yeah.
So it all depends on how much you go into it, how much you go into books that are not canon, but they keep taking things from non-canon sources and making them canon again. So it's slowly kind of rebuilding what they got rid of.
all right. So
Convoluted the plot.
before we shit on Obi-Wan,
I'm not shitting
just-
on it. I'm
just
saying
the
there's good and
chase
bad.
scene. Just
right,
the child chase
There's a
scene.
really awkward chase scene.
there is, and the fact that Red Hot Chili Peppers somehow
Yes.
is on
Yeah.
Tatooine.
Flea clearly gets around a lot more
Yes.
than what you expected.
And then the Eternals were in
Yeah.
episode
Hey,
2.
when you work for Disney, you work
That's
for Disney.
true. And you know what? I liked his character.
He was fun.
All
I
right,
thought he was
bitch, change
hilarious.
costumes. Get the fuck over here. Do you want to be in Disney or not?
Yeah, I thought it was good. People are really going in on the lead actress, and for no reason. I don't think she's a bad actress. I understand the role that she's playing.
She's
Darth
just-
Tantrum has a role.
I was a little surprised when she took out the spoiler alert. Took out the Grand Inquisitor. I was like, what?
Yeah, so in
I
the
liked him.
Yes.
He was morbid. you know?
Yeah,
Yes.
so
And I think that's where people were upset.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were so happy to see the Grand Inquisitor, and they wanted that as a backstory.
Well-
and I tell you what, His opening scene was fucking dope.
Here-
He walked into the bar. He fucking totally Quentin Tarantino that bitch.
Yeah.
Like he just went in there with an opening monologue. Like, boom. You know,
He's a good villain.
The thing is that it retcons something that happens in the cartoons, but it's like one of those things of if you don't see the dead body burned until it's just bones, in the world of Star Wars,
You ain't dead.
you give them some fucking robotic organs, you
Yes.
pick
Hey.
them back the fuck up like veneer, and you just keep moving on like nothing happened.
If Anakin
So
can get up,
yeah.
Grand Inquisitor
Listen,
can
I
get
mean,
up.
look, old man crawled out of the Sarlacc pit, and it took him a long while to get better,
Listen.
but he did. There's ways to heal in Star Wars,
There
so
is.
him being out of
Nelson-
commission
Nelson
doesn't
was-
mean he's
And
dead.
I know this for a fact because I am a fantastical investigator. The Inquisitor is scheduled for 5 episodes.
Well,
Yeah.
Nelson liked the back to tank. He was a big fan of the.
Yeah.
healing.
Fuck that back to tank, man. God
I mean,
damn
he
it.
cried when he saw an old man from the 501st.
He did.
Obi-Wan,
That's what happened.
I won't call you out as a Jedi. Give me money.
That's what happens. That's what happens when Mando steals your show. You know, you end up begging for.
They did.
Begging on the corner for Disney bucks, for Mickey
Yeah,
dollars.
give me that fast pass.
Give me that fast pass. They're like, listen, we could give you one ride. That's it. You can get on one ride and then you got to get the fuck off.
I'm not gonna drop any trailer, any like spoilers or anything, but I think the biggest success, like the best thing since we last talked, is probably Stranger Things 4.
Before we jump on to Stranger
That's
Things, I wanted to
that's
touch on one other thing with Star Wars. It was a thing I had seen somebody online talking about. Where he's like, nobody actually mentions the clones after the order is given for them to kill the Jedi, and he points out not only did they have no ability to resist following the order, it's shown that in the areas where there were no Jedi or they killed the Jedi, they just then stood there. So any battlefield where there were the robots, they just stood there and got willingly shot and killed.
So you
And
think that
then
they showing remorse.
and then later on, when the order is done and they they're given essentially back their sentience, they're now faced with the fact of, we just murdered the people that was on our side against our wishes, and or just stood there on the battlefield and watched everyone around us shot and killed, because they were also fighting with some of the resistance. So so in their heads, they were fighting with them.
So what you're saying is there's no Order 67?
No. There's no fallback plan.
Like a wipe the slate clean kind of an order?
No, so that was the thing. It was the person was explaining was they lost control of their body, but they didn't lose their ability to see what's happening around them. And then they had to live with that happening around them. On top of that, now the war is over, essentially, and they have no function. They're accelerated aged people with no skills other than war, no money, no rights because they're clones and they're not considered people, so they can't actually get a functioning job.
Publix.
And if they could, they have no skills.
Publix is hiring.
So
Yeah.
it was like it essentially created a giant population of people homeless who can't barely fend for themselves except for murder, and plausibly starving to death.
So,
and just,
so why was there
with
no
PTSD.
clone uprising?
Should they charge Palpatine with war crimes?
well, so there was some clone uprisings with like the Bad Batch and things like that, where they actually went against the orders.
No,
and
but I'm
things
saying
like,
like,
that,
why didn't they just like clone it up together and start like?
But most of them
another-
actually got murdered during Order 66. They stood still on the battlefield.
And which is why in the newer movies they started replenishing their ranks with randos.
Because they didn't want to keep using the clones. They don't need them anymore. They were too expensive. We can just grab random kids and call it a day. It doesn't matter if they're shitty.
Right.
It's just overwhelming numbers.
And I do.
Which is what the U.S. military does today.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was not gonna say that. But what I was gonna say is they are still like subtly trying to sell us like
That's not your ass fab score. Get in
the
here.
the
Come here, son.
the futuristic kids in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want some what do they call it? Not sand, pepper, salts. What are they selling?
Oh, I don't know what.
Spice.
Spice. Yeah, you want
Spice.
some? You want some spice, old man?
Yeah, it became Dune all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, Frank Herbert's gonna have something to say
That,
about
that
that.
actually the spice seller was his real life daughter.
Obi-Wan's real life daughter.
Yeah.
All
Oh
right.
shit.
He snuck her in a role into Star Wars.
Why
Hey,
not?
you know,
Yeah.
might as well.
I mean, like, I would sneak you guys into a role. For
Thank
sure.
you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be a really shitty role.
It would
would be.
absolutely be a really shitty role.
He'd make me like a love slave to Jabba the Hutt.
No, more like from that movie, This Is the End.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
The gimp.
Channing Tatum. Let me tell you, he oversold that role. I was like,
He was amazing.
yeah, I was like, you know what? That actually looks fun. Oh man! So you were saying Stranger
Things. Yes, that is.
So what are you thinking of it?
Has you guys seen it?
I have not yet. I
have
haven't had the chance to jump in.
3 seasons to catch up on to first. I haven't seen.
All
I
right,
haven't
well
seen
then,
a single thing.
For everybody else out there,
Go for it.
It's the best season yet. It's the best season yet. There is a lot of. I would say it's probably the most horrifying season yet. They definitely They upped the
They went
creep
dark.
factor. They're older now. They're in
Right.
high school.
Yep.
But it's like they upped the creep factor. Like, oh my god. And they had to release a disclaimer at the beginning because of how close it was to the shooting in Texas.
That I did see because I watched like the first.
There
10
is
minutes.
some, and I'm just preparing you for it. There is some disturbing violence against children in the show.
Yeah.
Like the way the big baddie takes you out, it's not very forgiving.
So as disturbing as Darth Vader just snapping a child's
Yeah.
neck.
yes,
They
But-
straight
yes.
made Darth Vader. They're like, no. He's a villain. He walked into town. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. Your kid helped. He's dead too.
The only
you in the
person-
window? Come here.
And the
dead.
only person smiling
that-
was Darth Tantrum.
yeah, and even that is like
Light,
sugarcoating
mid-light.
sprinkles compared to what the bad dude in.
Okay.
Well, they know
They
they're
go
coming.
a Dungeons and Dragons route in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they refer to the bad dude as Vecna, like a dark sorcerer.
Nice.
The creepiest villain yet.
All right.
By far the
I'm down.
creepiest
I'm down.
villain yet.
I
So,
gotta watch it.
if you haven't caught up, catch up. And they're releasing the remainder of the season July 1st. So it
Nice.
gives
Yep.
you time. 7 episodes. Most of them are an hour and 10 to an hour and 15 minutes. And then the final episode is a movie. It's like an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, that's what's up.
That's
So,
fantastic.
Yeah, and it's no joke. They tie up a lot of loose ends.
I
You
mean,
see
they-
where everybody's at.
They're coming into the last season. They have their chance. It's a big show for them. They have their chance to really end on a big note.
They've
at the
also
same
confirmed
time.
they're going to kill off a main character.
And
They have
you
not
know
told
what?
us
You
who.
need to. You
Somebody's
need to.
contract's up.
Yeah.
Someone's going to die.
Somebody asked for too much money.
Yeah. I hope it's the mother of the kids.
Oh, you want Winona Ryder?
Winona Ryder. Yeah.
Your
Kill her.
shoplifting days are done,
Kill
bitch.
her ass off. Yeah.
See, I like when they get to they take the time to tell the story based on what it is, whether it's 140 or it's 115. Star Trek is doing that a lot with Strange New Worlds. They have episodes that were like 43 minutes and episodes that were 55 minutes.
Yeah.
And when you do that and then also remove all the commercials, you get a lot more time to tell the story. You
Story.
get all the in-between beats that allows for a lot of, I mean, we're only a few
and the way you
episodes
shoot is
in.
differently. The way you shoot is differently because you
Yeah.
don't have to do like the dramatic like,
Yeah.
and then it cuts the
Yeah,
commercial. Like, you
it's
don't
not.
have to do that shit.
It's
Like,
not a giant rush. Exactly. Yeah, you're not trying to. I have my 3 minutes, and then the commercial has to come. So I got to do something here to keep
we'll
you.
give you a snippet,
for the.
and then, yeah.
So it ends up getting you to tell an actual story in a more meaningful way. You get a lot of character development just in these handful of episodes. You have a lot of understanding of the doctor, of the nurse, of number one, of the security chief. You get a lot of time with Spock,
Yeah.
and it's because these episodes they're essentially like 25% longer than what they normally would be if they were on television.
Is the boys out?
It is, and that's another one that I got to dive into.
I'm
well.
not. I'm slacking. I haven't caught
Yeah,
up. on
listen,
that one.
there's only so much shit that you could watch, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like
I've watched.
I'm watching
I've
a
watched
couple
season
of
1
other
and 2.
things.
I've watched season
Yeah.
1 and 2. I think the superhero market just is like so saturated now, and to me, like the superhero show that's on Prime for me is Invincible. That's
Yeah.
like my. That's
Yeah,
I
no,
like
that's a
that.
fantastic.
Now I've
show.
been all over Orville and Star Trek and Discovery, and
Yeah.
my daughter, she started reading the Harry Potter books finally. So now she wanted to watch the movies again. So we
Right.
sat down, we were watching the Fantastic Beasts. So it was like I only have so much time
next
in
time
the
you go to
day.
Universal, it's going to be expensive.
Yes.
Oh well, yeah, no, we already got
already is.
seasons.
You're
We
leaving,
already got.
you're leaving with wine and shit.
Yeah, that's it. I need butterbeer, all of it.
Oh,
No, but again, touching back on Star Trek as well, they're doing such a great.
They brought back
job.
the fight music. They
Yes.
brought back the fight music,
Yes.
and they brought back that actual style of fight.
Yeah.
Oh no.
in the episode.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It was done so well,
Was it?
though.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, what the show in general is the best Star Trek that I've seen in a long time, and I love Discovery.
Yep.
Discovery is its own thing, and
It's
I really enjoy it
serialized.
for what it is.
Discovery
but
is,
they
yeah.
brought back the original formula. I love the captain. I love
Episodic.
the crew. The guy that plays Spock, killing it. If you ask
Now,
me.
here's the thing.
Hard role to follow.
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane proposed doing this with Star Trek. They turned him down. It turned into the Orville, which is exactly what Star Trek has been doing. Episodic for the episodes, serialized for the character arc. The very thing he's doing in Orville, which has also been fantastic, is exactly what they're now copying with Star Trek Strange New Worlds after the backlash of fully serialized seasons of Discovery and Star Trek Picard. It almost seems like
How's the
they should have done what they were told to do by the guy that knew what needed to be done.
How's the inter-alien species love in this new season?
It's live and
Is
kicking.
it live and kicking?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
one thing Star Trek always had that Star Wars just
There was
didn't
actually
have.
a sex scene
Did
between
not have.
a Gorn and a Blob. It was
What is a Gorn and a blob?
it was beautiful. It was.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It brought a tear to my. The Gorn are basically Tyrannosaurus Rex beings.
Yeah.
And a blob is a blob.
And a blob is a blob.
I tell you what,
it's a gelatinous alien with 0 eyes and a mouth.
Was it
And
more
I-
sad than Val Kilmer?
And I'm just kidding because the blob is actually on the Orville and the Gorn are actually on Star Trek. But
Yeah,
that would be
the
a
Orville-
great love scene to see.
you had me excited for a
See,
moment.
Orville had really went into like, how can we have characters that are clearly not
Knockoff.
humanoid?
Yeah.
Right.
So they have a character who's played by Norm Macdonald, who's a gelatinous
Yeah.
blob
Rest in peace.
who moved around the ship.
God
Then they
bless
have this
Norm.
big furry guy. They have a couple of characters like, no, like whenever we can, aliens are not going to be humanoid.
Right.
Right.
But in Star Trek, actually, it looks like they're making the Gorn the main villains. And
Which is cool because they never really touched on them more than in the original Star Trek.
they really made the Gorn like some fucking evil. Like they capture humanoids for food. They
and
take them
and procreation.
and they use them for their breeding planets, and they put them on planets to be used as food and to be hunted down deliberately. Like, oh, they just like to eat you alive while they're at it. So they send their children, go find how to hunt. They're that, and like
Right.
they just leave the humans running around wild, and it's actually like the one character who Noonien Singh, who she's related to,
favorite
is
Star Trek character.
is the security officer, and she's like the one of the few people who've ever gotten away from the Gorn.
Right. She survived living in one of their camps. And, when you think about it, like, if it is an alien race that's, like, a reptilian base,
Yeah.
cold-blooded, like, they're going to, like, if they're basically dinosaurs and they're going to look at humans as food, that's how they're going to treat you. So it's pretty cool. I'm
we
really
put
liking
people in
it.
camps before, So.
Yeah.
Not me. Don't we me in this shit. Us Puerto Ricans, very peaceful people. We like salsa music, platanos.
But don't think
a
you're
little
don't think you're off the
coquito.
hook, Americans. Google Japanese Americans World War II internment camps. Google it right now.
Oh yeah, George Takei got some words on you for that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's for
And
sure.
hey, guess what? It's not that old. It didn't happen that long ago.
No,
It's
man.
frighteningly not long ago.
Absolutely not.
Yes,
No.
but it's nothing like what the Gorn did.
Well,
Yeah.
food. That's a good reason to put people in camps.
Yes,
Food.
it is. And procreation.
So procreation, are they actually breeding
They
with?
use them like egg sacs.
It's
How does a Gorn reproduce?
Fertilizer.
they
Fertilize the old egg.
they go into it enough to let your imagination go, but not enough to fill in all the blanks. But it sounds like it's a bad time. It's a real bad time.
Real bad
Yes.
time.
Yes, sir.
But
So you're
yeah,
not signing up for a round 2.
No,
Okay.
but
not
but,
with the Gorn.
but it's
All right.
interesting.
Nobody signed up for round 1.
That's the camps.
That's the camps, yes.
All right, fair.
Fuck. All
So
right.
they,
all right.
they managed to take the cartoony Gorn villain from the original show and turn him into really like horrific creatures to run across. Where it's like
Yeah.
would you want to run across them or the Borg?
Right.
It's like either way,
The Borg's pretty bad.
it's pretty
Yeah.
fucking terrible.
Yeah, but the Borg has had their
Trying to
place
find a picture of a Gorn.
in the Picard series, and
They
they're
haven't
doing their
shown.
thing.
I don't think they've shown the new Gorns yet.
No.
Which is another thing they're doing, which really
Deliberately.
builds suspense. Is you haven't even
Seen.
physically seen them. It's very much like Alien, where it's like they're running from the thing, but you never get to see the thing.
Well, speaking of running from the thing, there was a movie trailer that I seen thanks to Ian called The Beast. God, how far has Idris Elba fallen
Yeah.
from
I don't know,
many of great movies he has been in
You might
recently?
need money. You might need money. No.
Nobody needs money that bad. I mean, like, this looks like
It's a terrible
Maybe he's a
CG lion.
workaholic.
a bad version
It's a terrible CG
of The
lion.
Lion King live action thriller.
It's so bad that I don't know if I'd run from it.
Yeah. it's
I'm like, oh, little guy.
it's like a really like watered down version of Jurassic Park. Like they're in the truck
Ugh.
and the lion is shaking and they're like, oh, like
And
don't.
based off
you're
the
in
new
the-
trailer of Jurassic Park, that's saying something.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucking insane.
Listen, the Jurassic Park. I'm glad that they're bringing it to an end and they're bringing everybody.
Are
back.
they though?
They've
This is supposed to
Are
be
they,
their.
they're running out of shit to say.
This
They've
is
taken
it.
over.
Yeah, they're already in the
Robot
mainland.
dinosaurs are coming.
Short of dinosaurs in space, like what the fuck else are they gonna do with the franchise?
You said
Dino
it.
Wars.
You just said it.
Dino Wars, man. Like some countries are like, yeah, we got all the T-Rexes, we got all the Velociraptors.
It's like they're not gonna be able to get off the
Go.
planet. As soon as they launch a rocket, a fucking pterodon will come flying over and knock him out.
It doesn't make any sense now. And the fact when it doesn't make any sense, there's no the gloves are off. The gloves are off. Some guy who's involved in the studio is gonna wake up a year and a half from now and go multiverse. Like he's and it's gonna be fucking
the
like,
Dinoverse.
there's gonna be two Dr. Hammonds staring at each other. Like, I'm telling you right now.
But here's
like,
the thing, right?
They're gonna run that into the dirt.
Realistically, the government would never allow this shit to happen, which is why the premise is so hard to get behind.
I just can't get over the whole like when I saw the pterodactyl attacking a plane, I was
Right.
like, no.
Yeah,
Like,
no, and
it would not be able to catch the plane.
Listen,
if it could
motherfuckers-
catch the plane, it'd be terrifying.
right, and
Best-
motherfuckers would be scrambling F-16s out of the fucking woodworks, blowing
There's
them
a
bitches
reason.
out of the
There's
sky.
a reason dinosaurs died out, and you
Yeah.
can say like, okay, the environmental stuff like that. But even if you brought them back now, they could not survive. A Tyrannosaurus, if you dropped it off in the forests of West Virginia, would get killed by inbreds and eaten.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
A redneck family would see it and go, "Oh shit, what
Oh,
the hell?"
shit.
And
Yeah, it
they
would
would
be
light
a
it up with
dinner.
all the guns they have in their shack, and then they would. Like, I'm sorry,
There would be an Alabama uprising,
dude.
like you have never seen before in your life. I mean, like insurgents would come out of the
it-
woodworks.
It doesn't make sense how they've managed to be like everywhere on the planet. It's like if you don't bring them to your shore,
Yeah.
how is the
And they're
variety?
They're toppling governments.
All
Yeah.
getting
What
there.
What the hell are we doing?
Yeah, it's too far fetched. I mean, listen, we watch complete shows like The Boys, and we're like, that's believable. But dinosaurs taking over is where I draw the fucking line.
They are not the Gorn. They are not intelligent. How did they do this?
Listen,
That's like
I
saying,
tell you what.
That's like great white sharks taking over the ocean.
I
Like,
tell you
no,
what, if it
they're
happened in
submarines.
Florida, if it happened in Florida, motherfuckers would be having them in their backyard for their kids' birthday parties,
Dude.
riding them motherfuckers like ponies.
That's what I'm saying.
Dinosaur wrestling.
They would be riding raptors in Belgrade. Like, the dinosaurs wouldn't do too well here.
Fuck yeah, there would be like alligator versus dinosaur wrestling rings in people's backyards like they were chicken fights. You know what I mean?
Test your toddler against a Compassaurus. If you were a little one.
Yeah, we'd have like new versions of Khabib Nurmagomedovs in Russia. Like they're just wrestling raptors,
Dinosaurs,
like
yep.
declawed raptors in their backyard.
They're really trying to get Khabib to come back. They're really trying.
They are.
really, really pushing
He
that.
doesn't-
I don't think he's gonna come back.
He
I think
doesn't need to.
It's all promotion.
I don't think he should.
It's all promotion.
He
Well,
lives a low-key lifestyle. He made a ton of money. And at this point, he's paving the way for other people from his country to get out of poverty.
A lot of Dagestani fighters are coming
They're,
out.
they're
now
very
doing well.
family and country oriented.
Yeah.
It would do him more
Most notably Islam Makhachev.
to continue paving the way for other people
Yeah.
and then him going back in for himself.
There's only one conceivable notion in which I see Khabib coming back and just proving how dominant he is. There's one, and that's if Islam Makhachev fights Oliveira. Oliveira beats Islam, like convincingly, and then he goes, okay, well, who is the best? I mean, because Oliveira, unlike Conor, actually poses some interesting challenges to
Yeah.
Khabib. Like, okay, you take Oliveira down, no one has been able to show convincingly that they can grapple
Right.
with Oliveira. He takes their back, submits them somehow. He's the best submission artist in mixed martial arts,
Right.
like without a doubt.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still don't want to see Khabib coming back because me personally, I think Islam beats Oliveira. I think he does.
I think, I don't think he needs to come back. I think he's had a fantastic career. He ended on a highlight. Why?
Yeah.
I would say the only fight I would really honestly want to see him come back for would be like fight against GSP.
Yeah.
That would be good.
That would be the fight
And-
that I
and-
would be like,
well,
all right,
that's-
I could get behind that.
Well, that one, like the Oliveira fight, it raises questions. When Khabib goes up against GSP, who's bigger and who's a fantastic wrestler, whose wrestling wins? I'd probably give the stand-up advantage to GSP.
Yeah.
How good is Khabib's wrestling? Can he actually put George
And
down?
Khabib essentially never stops. He keeps exercising as if he's training.
But so does GSP. Like you watch,
Yeah,
like,
GSP's in
he's
sick shape.
Yeah,
he
has not
It's
lost
the-
his step. He hasn't fought in a long time.
Ne-
but
neither-
he has
still in
not
fantastic.
lost
He's
his
still in
step.
fight shape. He can still take a
Neither
fight.
of them are doing like bowl cut boy who put on like 50 pounds.
Dude, Paddy Pimblett is. I'm worried about his diabetes. You cannot do that. You
That-
fucking cannot do
that
that.
Well,
is horrendous on
Michael,
your
Michael
body.
Bisping was saying the same thing. He's like,
He gets
you can
so
only do that
fucking
for so
fat.
long.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my god, dude.
At the speed he did it also is alarming. That is a lot.
He showed
to
up
put
with
on.
that Maggie or Molly, whoever that other British girl is. He
Yeah.
showed up at like a sporting event in the United States, and he was like literally 60, 70 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
And he's
It-
like eating donuts
It
and
was.
stand.
It
I'm
was.
like, dude, no.
It took a second to recognize. Like, wait a minute. No, he's fatter than the last time I've seen him.
You
I'm
know what?
calling
Everybody
it.
has their vice.
I'm calling it down the road. Patty's gonna have a horrific loss. Like,
Yeah.
you cannot do that to yourself.
No,
and
his
maintain.
body. Your
Yeah.
body can't take losing that
No.
and gaining that much weight all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Patty is a fucking lunatic. But
well, if they need
I'm
another
worried
blob
about
for
him.
the Orville,
Yeah.
Patty, you're up, Fatty.
Yeah.
And
They are calling him Patty the Fatty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, his logic is he's like, I don't want to be cut and miserable. He's like, I'd rather be fat and happy. So that is his logic.
There's a level of fat and happy,
Yeah.
and
He's
a
a slob.
speed. A
He's a
speed.
slob.
There is
there's-
still a
there's-
certain amount of discipline as a professional fighter that
Yes.
you need to
and
maintain.
Patty don't got it when he's in off season. When he's not.
and
booked
You know
for
who else
fight.
was like that? Wasn't it Tito Ortiz that had problems with weight cuts and stuff?
Yeah, I
like
don't
There's a
think
lot-
he
well,
gained.
Anthony
I don't
Rumble
think
Johnson
he gained
did, but-
Yeah,
that
Anthony Johnson
much
as well.
and at that speed. There's a level of gaining where, like,
Have
all
you
right,
seen that man's head?
Tito's head's big. He does have a big
Tito's got like
Listen,
one of
that's not-
those.
your head doesn't grow from food, sir. It does not.
head. It does grow
it-
from steroids, Overeem.
What are
I'm
those
looking at you.
on Easter Island?
Oh,
It's
the
like
mom?
they were based off of Tito Ortiz's
That's
family line.
that's actually sensitive because somebody once said I look like that. And I was so pissed off. I
Oh,
was
so you're in your feelings?
Yeah, I was like, what? I'm not.
No, bro.
I've never
listen,
even been to Easter
listen,
Island.
I don't see it, man.
I've never been
No,
there.
I don't see
I'm
that.
not related to the Moai.
No,
I'm
no,
not related to him at
I don't
all.
see that, bro.
No
I
relation.
got your back.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
What were we saying?
Viking
Anyway,
bloodline, yes.
Yeah.
Easter Island,
No,
Stonehenge.
no, I've never been to the Pacific.
no,
It's
yeah,
I
no.
dipped my foot in one. That water's cold, man. I don't fuck with that.
Oh man, you know I was
But-
watching
so-
The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
I got back into it.
Is that
and
the Nunez?
the Nunez and the
Dennis Whalen Dixon.
I haven't watched that all this year.
the one that beat her,
One that beat her.
Amanda Nunez and
Jessica Pena.
yeah,
Jessica
Pena. I'm liking it. It's back to somewhat the traditional format, a lot less of the shenanigans, which
Yeah, that killed
my,
it.
my ultimate favorite season, hands down,
The paper door.
Rashad Evans.
The paper door.
Yeah.
That does not. That was cardboard. That door
Oh
was
my
put
God.
there to be
But like
destroyed.
the whole season, he's harassing this one guy. Titties,
Yeah.
titties. Like this guy knew, he had to know. There's no way I could fuck up Rampage Jackson. But this man is humiliating me day in and day out, calling me titties wherever I go. I have to stand up for myself. And kudos to that man who went in and was like, you know what, fuck you, Rampage. I'll fight you. I'm like, you're going to die. You're going to die. But you know what? You're a man. I feel you. You have to defend yourself, but you're going to die.
Yeah.
But that was my favorite season. Rashad Evans, Rampage Jackson. That was like the pinnacle besides the very first season with
Yeah.
Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner, the fight which
Yeah.
set off, I think,
It-
the UFC from one level to like exploding.
It's the only reason they probably even had a second year.
yeah,
That
but
that fight alone was like, all right, I'll stick around for another season.
it's more professional.
After a while, it's like every year there was different psycho that they,
Yeah.
and they put those people on because they're like, okay, this guy's a lunatic.
This is
Yeah.
a fucking
I'm gonna
character.
put- I'm
We
gonna
need him
put
in
him in
there.
the show.
yeah,
Yeah.
some of it's been set up. We all know that they did
Let Me
that.
Bang Bro, that guy was a friggin' idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the other guy that was like? Oh my God, he had like blonde hair. He was just an alcoholic
Well,
drug
even
addict.
Chris Lieben was wild on that show.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah,
he?
but at least they didn't know. At least Chris Lieben, they're like, okay, he's on the first season because he did so good in the tryouts.
Yeah.
But he also turned out to be a fucking nutcase.
Psychopath. Yeah.
But later on, they started putting guys on that were just like.
I mean,
Yeah.
another entertaining.
why'd they put you here?
Another entertaining season was Michael Bisping, Dan Henderson.
That just had the best ending.
That's
It
just
did,
Michael
but the
Bisping
whole
is just
season,
he's funny.
He
That's
can
what
sell.
it is.
Michael Bisping can sell.
He can.
He played the
And
heel.
I used to hate Bisping because I used to hate him, and he could back it up.
Yes.
He would still win the fight. That's the worst guy.
I mean, the man
That's
won a
the worst
championship
guy.
with one friggin' eye.
He did. He did.
So
He
I
did.
mean, that's another badass motherfucker. He's
He
a
is.
legend.
He is.
And I
And
listened
the more
to his podcast.
the older he got, the more I liked him.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Because he got more realistic about it. He's like, hey, listen, I played a role. I was the asshole. I leaned into it. And you're like, you know what? I get it, man. You got a family to feed. You got, you were putting asses in seats, and you were delivering great fights. So,
Yep.
I mean, like you said, put his money where his mouth was, and he showed up to fight every time.
I just don't. The one thing that bugs me is I don't know what happened. Like I love watching fights where I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like when I hear that Conor McGregor is talking shit on Kamaru Usman, I don't have any interest in that
Yeah.
fight. That's
Yeah.
sexual assault. That's what that is.
And-
There's no way.
That's sexual
There's no. I'm sorry,
Christ.
Connor
Yeah.
can't even break top 5. He can't
Yeah.
break top 10 at lightweight.
Yeah.
Why are you calling out a man who's gigantic at 170 who will literally murder you?
I agree.
Murder you.
Stick
Like,
to a fun fight. Like, I'd like to see him and Masvidal.
I would
I think
because
that
both
would be a
of them.
fun fight.
Masvidal's never going to be top 10 at 170
Right.
again. He's not. And Connor's not going to be an elite fighter at 155.
Yeah.
Let them make money off their name.
Yeah, that would be.
Put the BMF title in the line.
Put it
and
on the
play.
line. Yeah,
Make
bring,
some money. I like that fight.
That's not a bad idea.
I like that. Both of those guys are not going to ever retain a title ever
They
again.
got a
Let them-
long road ahead if they're
Well,
looking to get back to the
make it
top.
a three-way
Yes.
fight. Both the Diaz brothers versus Conor McGregor.
Okay, well, I'll
Every
tell you.
man
all right,
for
so
himself.
like right now,
All right,
Conor
we're playing
McGregor.
with Russian rules. All 4 men.
So Conor McGregor. Connor's not beating Poirier again. He's
Yep.
definitely not beating Oliveira. He's
Correct.
not beating Gaethje.
Correct.
He's not beating Michael Chandler. He's not going to win those
No.
fights. Just like Masvidal's not going to beat. He's not going to beat Kamaru.
Usman.
He's not going to beat
Covington.
Covington. He's not going to beat Eve Edwards. He's not going to beat Kazmat Chimaev.
Yeah.
Gilbert
Yeah.
Burns. He's never going to see that belt.
I
No.
thoroughly
But make a fun
enjoy
fight.
that some of the baddest fighters in the world are guys that play with Legos in their downtime. That is so entertaining to
Thanks,
me.
man. I appreciate you acknowledging me on this show. Thank you, Edward. And it's not just Legos. I play with all kinds of toys.
Shit. Yeah, we've seen your drawer.
That's a different joy, Ian. That's a totally different joy.
But I don't know.
We weren't supposed to talk about
Oh,
that.
no, I'm sorry.
We
No.
had the Uber
And you
Loop
were
episode
so
a long
nice to
time
me.
ago.
You were so nice to me about the Moai. Thank you. I betrayed you.
Thanks a lot, man.
I know, I'm
the
sorry.
shit. All
No,
right.
but I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens when I know Khabib takes Charles down.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, and I know he puts him on his back. But I do not know what happens from there. Like Charles is so good
Yeah.
at escaping and finding ways to, especially early in the fight.
Yeah.
You take Charles down fresh when there's no sweat. I don't put it past him catching Khabib
Yeah.
in something. But then again, we've never seen Khabib caught.
Yeah.
He's gotten out of everything he's ever been put in. Like he's I don't know. It asks questions.
I'd
for
like
me.
to see Khabib and actually just a couple of pure grappling matches. I
They
think
were-
that's where
they
I
were
would like
talking
to see
about
him.
setting that up, like putting Khabib up against you're putting him against GSP in like a submission wrestling.
That
That'd be
would be
cool.
interesting.
It would be.
cool.
And Islam Makhachev seems to think his wrestling's on par because he was talking some shit. I remember he was talking with Daniel Cormier, and he wanted to set up a wrestling match with Jordan Burroughs. And I know you're good at wrestling, Islam, and I know you're from Dagestan, but I don't know, dude.
Right.
Jordan Burroughs is an Olympic gold medalist. He's
But-
multiple-time world champion. I think he double legs you.
But
and ragdolls
fighters need that mentality, right? Like you have to, on some degree, think you are the baddest motherfucker on the planet
what-
to compete at that level with other motherfuckers who think
I know.
exactly the same
you. Just like
thing.
Francis Ngannou, who thinks he's going to box Tyson Fury.
You know, what's funny is
Wild.
mentioned
He's
you
gonna get
mentioned
his ass
Wild.
beat.
you mentioned that there's levels to it. There is a a story from in WWE. It's with Kurt Angle.
Mhm.
It's when what's his name?
Brock.
Brock came in, and apparently over time there became like a
Rivalry.
who's a better wrestler.
Right.
And Kurt Angle had the very much like,
It's Kurt.
I'm Olympic.
It's Kurt.
Right.
Like I won gold.
Right. And not only did I win gold, but with a broken
Broke
fucking
freaking
neck.
neck.
And
Get the fuck out of here. That's a different level of human being.
apparently at some point in time it came to head, and they went privately to a room to
Yeah.
solve it. And I do believe Kurt walked out
Yeah.
first as the victor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, and that again, right? There's levels to this shit, and you got to know your place. And every now and again, somebody needs to be brought down a peg.
Okay, so Brock wrestled and he was really good, but he was D1 All
He was
American college.
collegiate level, but not
he never
Olympic.
cracked the international thing. No, Kurt Angle won a gold damn medal, and I watched his match. It was a tough match. He was against a tough Iranian. I mean,
And you know what it is too? It's like at Brock's stature, right?
Yep.
Comes into play. He's just so godly big that
Yep.
he can get away with doing shit to most people
that you can't get
that
away
you
with.
can't get away with if
Yeah.
you had less of a skill set.
Yeah.
Like Kurt Angle is your average or above average fighter who was tested against other men who were
Yeah.
agile, technically savvy at an Olympic level, which
Yeah.
you have to be. You know, like we've seen guys that are like, oh my God, they're just so big that they can get away with doing something that a guy my size
Yeah.
couldn't get away with doing. You have to have more technique involved in order to throw your weight around.
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah.
that comes with that too.
I mean, I have flexibility in certain joints, and I do certain moves in jiu-jitsu.
Is this
and,
on your Tinder page?
And I do actually.
Hey, ladies, he has flexibility.
I
At certain
mentioned
points.
I mentioned that when I get out of certain moves, and
Sure.
some people, how'd you like? It's not something you want to do. It's not the right way to get out. My shoulder is flexible enough to go beyond what normal.
Right.
You shouldn't. Don't look to my escape as what you need to do to escape.
It's not a textbook way to get out.
It's a bad idea. I get away with it.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I hear that. All right. So
And
jumping.
Brock being as gigantic as he is, you're right. It gives him a little fucking.
It gives him. It gives
Yeah,
him a
when
little.
you're that
leeway.
big-
Also,
We all know-
he's not a normal human. Like
No.
it's not like he just wrestled. He wrestled and then he went into the WWE and then he walked onto the Minnesota
Yeah.
Vikings. Walked onto the Minnesota Vikings. Like that's not, your average American
Like yeah,
human
he just
being can't
he
do
knocked
that.
on the door and they're like, whatever it is you want,
Well,
you're hired.
Exactly. Well, he knocked on the door. They opened it. They were staring at nipples, and they were like, "What the fuck?" You know, so they're like, "All right, sure, we got a spot on the team."
Yeah, like imagine if like Thor walked into like an NFL team. He's like, I would like a spot. They were like, you got it, bro.
Yep.
We don't even need to see you play.
Yeah.
You're gonna knock motherfuckers unconscious.
Supposedly Brock wasn't as coordinated as they thought.
Right.
Like, he was really explosive, really powerful, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I want at a certain point you're
zigzag
like,
Brock.
Yeah.
you hope that all right, you have the size. Can we teach you the basic fundamentals
that's
to
what it
make
comes down
use
to.
of that size?
Like LeBron James. I'm pretty sure if LeBron James practiced, he could probably be an NFL receiver. He
Yeah.
probably could. He's
Yeah.
extremely fast. He's extremely coordinated.
Yeah.
He's also 6'9", 6'10". I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm sure he
I
could.
agree.
Like,
I agree.
doesn't mean he can take a hit.
Yep.
That's what everybody says about Usain Bolt. Like Usain Bolt runs like a 3-something 40. It's like 3.8,
Yeah.
something like that. It's something ungodly that you don't see
Yeah,
in the
but
NFL
can
numbers.
you take a hit?
Right. He can run really fast in one direction.
Yeah.
Can he run a route? Can he see the ball? Can he catch the ball? Can he take a hit?
Yeah.
It's all different skill sets.
It's one thing to run super fast. It's another thing to run super fast and then have Ray Lewis put a big hit on you.
Yeah.
Just look at the fact that as soon as you change the distance of the race, the racers physically look different.
Different.
When you're looking at
A
the
sprinter.
short sprinters versus the medium length races versus the long races versus the marathons versus the ultra marathons, it is wildly different body
Yeah.
types.
Like the 100-meter sprinter looks like an NFL running back.
They're gigantic.
And then the people that do like the 5-mile races, they look like the people in the
And-
Gorm camps.
And
Right.
Usain Bolt himself is an outlier. He's like a foot taller than everybody else that generally does that race. Almost everyone else, there was a height that was like, this is the height that forever had been the best. This is the weight. And then he came in and he's way taller than everybody else. And he ends up running less steps
there's something in the
because
water in
of his
Jamaica.
height.
There's something in the water in Jamaica. 'Cause, like, in Jamaica, like they watch track meets the way we watch football games.
Yeah.
Like if you go into a bar in Jamaica and you look on the television, there's probably a track meet on.
Sure.
somewhere.
I mean, it's a national sport, right?
Yeah.
Probably for them.
they're
Like hockey in Canada.
They're all fast though. I
Yeah.
mean, what the hell? The one. It was Usain Bolt the one year, and then second place it was his teammate Johan Blake, and I was like, what? And then you look at the women, and the top 2 or 3 women sprinters are Jamaican. I'm like, what is happening?
You also have
What's
the
going
fact that
on?
when you look to the lane next to you, you have world class that you can talk to
Right.
and compete with.
right,
Yeah.
iron sharpens
That
iron.
makes a big difference. You know, no one made that 4-minute mile into the first guy. Then the next year, a bunch of motherfuckers did it because it's possible.
Yeah, we can do it. We
How'd
just gotta
you
stick
do
with
it?
this
What?
guy.
You know what else falls under the category of it's possible? Johnny Depp winning the trial against that motherfucking bitch Amber Heard.
He did. He won.
You
And
know
she's
what?
got, where the hell is she gonna? I think what she has to pay him 15 million.
15
$15
mil,
million.
and she's saying that she can't even pay 10. But I don't think that matters, right? What matters is the winning of the defamation case, showing everybody like, hey, you guys were fucking wrong, and that not every time is it gonna be the man that's the evil villain in those situations. But what I think for him, bigger, the payday that's gonna come from whatever movie he does.
Yep.
There's gonna
They're
be
already
bidding
talking
wars.
about bringing him back for Pirates of the Caribbean.
But he is saying he doesn't want to
Yeah.
come back. But I'm
That
sure
franchise
there's going to
is
be
dead.
But yeah,
there's
that's
a
like-
magic number that's going to come out. They're going to be like, we're going
Exactly.
to open the vaults of Disney, and they're going to be like,
Yep, that's exactly.
Mickey's gonna call Johnny specifically.
they'll be like,
Johnny, this is Mickey.
listen, hear me out, Johnny. Pirates of the Caribbean completely refurbished to Johnny and the Caribbean. Huh? You know what I mean? Like they're going to open up the bank for him. But I think, and this has been one of the talks that people have had online, so I'm going to ask you guys what you think, right? Casting Johnny Depp in a Marvel role, okay, for Disney, and I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say, make him a villain, right?
Okay.
People want to see him be the good guy, but I think
He was a good Grindelwald.
he was a great Grindelwald.
Yep.
I say make him Doctor Strange's villain, Nightmare. So now Nightmare, if you don't know who he is, he's basically kind of like an evil trickster, kind of like a Loki meets Freddy Krueger.
Oh, okay.
Okay? But he's always had that like
Johnny Depp was actually killed by Freddy Krueger in the first movie.
Yes. So he has a
he's
little
got-
experience
he's got
on
a
the
little
job training.
experience.
Yes.
You know who that
and
makes me?
he's lived with a nightmare, right? So he
Yes.
knows what crazy looks like. I mean, even if they made like a nightmare scene where like just like a throwback to Amber Heard where like Doctor Strange goes to lay in his bed and there's like a big pile of shit. Like, what kind of villain, evil villain would do something like this?
You know what I would like to see, because they kept hinting at it forever. Mephisto.
Yes,
A
another
very similar style of character.
Cynical.
He's essentially Satan
Yes.
in the Marvel universe. They've already delved into the book. They already delved into alternate realities and the
Yes.
Scarlet Witch and all that. That would be a logical villain, magic-wise, to bring in
okay.
if they want to give Scarlet Witch some level of redemption story.
Okay.
Did you see the petition for because they need to replace Amber Heard and Aquaman?
Yeah.
They want to bring Johnny Depp in.
No,
to play.
No. Go ahead. You tell it.
It's like I think it's at 60 million plus signatures now.
It's at a few. I haven't seen how many it is.
I'll double check.
shark?
They want to bring in Bruce Campbell. They want to bring in Bruce Campbell to replace Amber Heard, and I can't believe it's taking off.
Bro,
It's taking
I'm
off.
in.
I love
I'm
it.
in.
I
Do
love
it.
it.
Do
I
it.
love it. It's fantastic.
I'm in.
It's put him in a wig and everything.
Bro.
Let him be dumb. It's
You know what? People would line up around the fucking block to see this.
They just
shit.
said Bruce Campbell. He shows interest in replacing Amber Heard and Aquaman too. How?
He responded to it
because
yeah.
you know what? He's got to be like, you know what? This is ridiculous enough that it could happen in this day and age.
I was not going to see that movie. If I'm telling you this right now, if you put Bruce Campbell in Amber Heard's position, I will see that fucking movie, and I will see it with a group of people.
That's right. I would see
I will
it
see it with a
twice.
group of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be. I can't even. I'm excited for that, and I don't know why I'm excited for that. It tells me something about myself.
So
maybe.
do you have a villainous role that you would like to see
Johnny
Depp play? Marvel, DC, any kind of superhero?
Oh man, I don't know. I always want to see Johnny working again. I can't believe we actually have evidence now of a man winning an argument against a woman.
I know this
That's
is
the greatest thing ever.
Do you think
never happened.
this is going to set precedent and Will Smith is going to go after Jada now?
Oh,
That's a tougher fight, though.
there was already.
She'll have him killed.
Is it though? I mean, she's a documented person of interest.
There's already been some footage that leaked out of like how much she was harassing him, recording him, and him having like, this doesn't need to be recorded. Stop stream like, and she would put the camera in his face anyway. Sure. So like there is a level of like, yeah, I get it. You're putting stuff out there. You're trying to do this and that, but like in the home and you're trying to like relax and shit, and you're stuffing a camera in somebody's face. How many times before they give you that look of like exasperation, of like, really?
But at what point, as a man, do you got to be like, I just got to get the fuck out? Like, he's got so
Will's
much
more
money.
in deep. Will's more in deep because it's like, okay, he's been with her for how long, and that whatever kind of
Kids and
relationship you got, you have
everything.
kids. So at least Johnny, he could have just like, all right.
But there's still a
fucking
point
get out.
at which like every man, woman, child is like, I have
maybe
had enough.
when the drug addict friend's sons is fucking your wife is when you leave.
Probably, yeah.
That's the time I would leave.
I
She
think-
got into an
Yeah.
entanglement with all
It's an
It's an
entanglement,
entanglement.
but I would be gone the fuck out of there. Yeah.
That means his dick was so big she was tangled in it. She I can't get out.
Oh, like that episode of The Boys.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot about that.
Eddie hasn't seen it. That was his superpower.
It's
not good.
There's a well.
Yeah, it's not good.
There's
No.
there's a famous comic, with the island and all that I know about.
Okay.
I don't know if it's happened yet, but I do know they talk to the writers and they're like, we think we found a way to make it work.
Oh man, that's
So
fucking wild.
there's some stuff coming up. If not, and I think Soldier Boy is when it. Because
Soulja
he's in.
Boy? I told ya.
He's in it this season, so there's some
No,
stuff.
he's
still,
talked about it.
Still
Yeah.
coming up, so
Yeah.
don't.
Don't totally count that out. Yes. It's crazy how we jump from Jada Pinkett Smith to like superhero sex islands. But you know, I could see how one would lead to
I think
the other.
I think the
They
comic
build
was
off each
called
other.
Herogasm. I think it was called.
Herogasm,
Yeah.
Hero guy.
Yeah, it's the boys has some pretty dark.
Listen, the boys likes to dance on that line and then like run amok over it.
So
So
does Invincible. Invincible likes to
yeah, they do.
push the boundaries.
I
But
gotta
it-
check which one came out first. The boys are Invincible because they have some
The guy that did Invincible did
interesting
Walking
through
Dead.
lines that are similar at a certain point, and even though the boys veers hard into like fuck it, let's do it anyway. That Invincible doesn't necessarily do, but they do have that almost similar opening of like,
oh.
wow, that's fucked up for.
Okay, all right. We'll end it with this: movies that we're looking forward to. I actually seen a trailer for a movie that looked fucking dope.
The
Watching
Menu.
Top Gun, No.
Right? Fantastic looking.
It does.
Absolutely.
Wrong. Bullet Train with
Brad Pitt.
looks fucking
it does look
dope.
good.
It looks like one of those like it almost looks I know I said it before, like Quentin Tarantino-esque, like bunch of different, like you got the mob, you got the samurais, you got the assassins, you got the hired guns, and they're all fighting over this briefcase.
Yeah.
This mysterious briefcase on a bullet train. It looks comedic, it looks action-packed. I'm down for the ride. It looks like a fun movie that I would like to see.
And I gotta say, Netflix has a lot of interesting movies that looks like it's coming up. And Woody Harrelson is in one coming up soon, The Man from Toronto,
That looks good.
where he gets to play the very iconic of him kind of serial killer, psycho-esque, very intimidating kind of presence.
That's probably just Woody Harrelson. That's just him.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
it
I could see
definitely
it.
falls on his shoulders very well.
Yeah, it seems natural. So that's another. Yeah, and Kevin Hart is in it.
Kevin
he plays
Hart,
his counterpart.
who it looks like it's gonna be very, very funny and has some very dark tones to it as well.
I'm in for that ride. Netflix is definitely pulling out the stops with a lot of their movies. Between that one, the one with Thor.
Yep.
Chris Hemsworth,
Yeah, where he plays the
scientist.
The
weird
scientist.
scientist.
Not believe that's as believable as The Rock being a topographer in that last.
He is so big.
They're like,
in
wait a
that
second.
outfit. Like, yeah, that's the guy that draws our maps. That guy.
That guy draws your maps. I hate to see the chef.
Like Netflix, they got to do something.
Yeah.
They had finally lost some subscribers, but they're doing stuff with passwords and trying to prevent people from passing it to like 100 people streaming on their one account. But with little by little, as contracts and every company is opening up their own streaming platform, they're taking back their properties as the property rights, and they're putting it on their own platform. Netflix is going to have to really pivot hard into their own movies, into their own series. That you even see now where they went from dropping the entire show in one big thing, they're breaking it up into 2 chunks now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they
That way you
break
don't
it up.
binge everything.
That's
Yeah,
the new
if they don't
model.
start breaking it up into like 3 or 4 little chunks. That way, their hit show pulls in people 4 months out of the year versus 1 month out of the year.
Yeah.
They don't have something right now like Star Trek or like Star Wars where they can make a show and give you something every week and force you to stay all the time.
Listen, Netflix, Stargate. Stargate was huge in its time.
Is always
It was a rival.
in the background that there's a new Stargate coming. It's one of those where they keep trying to bring it up because it's very much like Star Wars and Star Trek, where it has the fandom of like, no, we want more.
You bring in the right cast, and you could play into. But move forward. Stop with the fucking prequels. Move forward with the show, like Stargate Atlantis. You could take over from there. They already opened up the exploration of other universes and other things. Go that route, and I think it would be dope. They touched on it with like Stargate Universes, I believe it was.
A little bit.
But they could definitely bring back that
Sequest.
franchise.
I like that show.
No one is no one is clamoring for Sequest.
Why not? Roy Scheider and he was under the water. It's so good.
No,
So good.
Farscape is another one that you can bring back.
Yeah.
That's another great universe that you could touch on.
Just don't bring back Firefly.
Oh, fuck you. They are bringing back Firefly.
Leave it dead.
You know, they're bringing back Willow. That's another good property. But okay, Ian, movie that you're looking forward to.
Not really looking forward to any movies.
All right.
I'm
Well,
looking
thanks.
forward-
Thanks for your input on that.
I'm looking forward to July 29th when Digimon Survive comes out on PS5. I am looking forward
All
to
right,
that.
you know what? Fuck it. All right.
That's so happy and colorful. I can't wait.
Okay,
I can't
all
wait.
right.
It looks like it's like a tactical RPG kind of in the style of Final Fantasy Tactics or Triangle
Really?
Strategy.
There's a Hogwarts game coming out in a couple of months, and I'm just like you. I'm waiting for this shit to come out.
I am excited. I watched the trailer. I saw how colorful it was. I was like, I'm gonna dump hours into that fucking thing. Hours into it. Like, and I knew it. I know the date. I know when it hits American shores. I'm buying it the first day it comes out. I'm not even playing. Sorry.
To each their own.
Yes.
And on that note, thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast, where Ian looks defeated.
Hey,
And,
some people like Pokemon, some people like Digimon. Some people like both.
Find us on all your social media platforms at.
Sofa Kingdom OFC,
You can find us on YouTube at.
Sofa Kingdom podcast.
Ian, take us away.
Like, share, tell your friends, send us an email,
Subscribe.
take screenshots, send them to your girlfriend. You know, we're here.
I don't know about that last one.
What? What I say? What I say? What I say? What happened? What I say?
I wasn't a part of that at all.
I'm pretty sure you're 1/3 of
Goddamn right I am.
it. Get a tattoo on your
Get a
face.
tattoo. Yeah, the Sofa
You know?
Kingdom podcast on
Right
your
there,
face.
right there.
Show your dedication.
Running out of arm.
Yeah, man.
Your boss will appreciate it.
Yes. Your boss will not appreciate it. Oh, shit.